Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom filled with golden fields and tall mountains, there lived a young girl named Belle. She was kind, gentle, and full of dreams. Every evening she read stories that took her imagination to magical places. Belle always helped her father, who was an inventor. He loved creating new machines and strange little gadgets. Belle supported him with love and patience. One cold morning, Belle's father decided to travel to another village. He wanted to show everyone his newest invention. He kissed Belle goodbye and began his journey through the forest. At first, the forest felt peaceful, but soon the sky grew darker and the wind turned icy. The trees rustled as if whispering secrets. Suddenly, heavy rain started pouring. Belle's father covered his head and looked around desperately. "I need shelter," he cried. Through the mist, he spotted a giant castle. Its towers touched the clouds, and glowing lanterns lit a path toward the gates. Though it looked abandoned, the doors opened as if inviting him inside. Inside the castle, he found warm food on the table and a gentle fire burning. Soft lights flickered around the room. "Get out! Is anyone here?" But no one answered. Out of gratitude, he took a single red rose from the garden for Belle. Suddenly, a loud roar shook the air. A huge beast appeared before him. The beast's eyes were fierce and his claws sharp. His voice was deep and thunderous. "How dare you take my rose?" Shouted. "You must stay here forever as punishment," the beast growled. Belle's father trembled in fear. He knew he was trapped. Back in the village, Belle waited anxiously. When her father's horse returned without him, she felt a terrible fear. Without hesitation, Belle followed the horse into the forest. She reached the mysterious castle. Inside, she found her father locked in a cold, dark room. Belle hugged him tightly and asked what had happened. Before he could answer, the beast stepped out of the shadows. Belle gasped at his appearance, but she bravely stood her ground. "Please," Belle said softly, "let my father go." She offered to take his place. The beast stared at her in surprise. No one had ever spoken to him kindly before. After a long silence, he agreed. Belle's father cried, but Belle gently assured him she would be fine. The beast released her father. The castle gates closed behind him. Belle was left alone inside the grand, silent halls. Days passed slowly in the castle. Belle felt scared and unsure at first. The rooms were enormous and filled with dusty magic. But the castle was not empty. Candles lit themselves and dishes moved on their own. Doors opened gently, almost as if welcoming her. The beast tried to be polite, but he didn't know how. He roared when he was nervous. He stomped when he was shy. Belle kept her distance at first, but one morning she saw the beast in the garden. He was gently helping a small bird with a broken wing. Belle watched quietly from behind a tree. The beast whispered softly to the injured bird. For the first time, Belle smiled. That evening, the beast knocked on Belle's door. "Would you join me for dinner?" he asked shyly. His voice had become gentle. Belle nodded politely. At dinner, the beast tried to behave. He spilled soup and fumbled with the spoons. But Belle laughed kindly. As days turned into weeks, something magical happened. Every time the beast performed a kind act, a red rose in the tower glowed brighter. Its petals sparkled like tiny stars. One night, Belle asked about the rose. The beast looked away sadly. He began to tell her the truth. He explained that a powerful enchantress had cursed him long ago. The rose was tied to the spell. When the last petal fell, he would remain a beast forever. Belle felt her heart ache for him. She understood his loneliness. She understood his fear. But trouble soon arrived. A jealous sorceress wanted the beast's power for herself. She began casting dark spells around the castle. Windows rattled violently. Candles flickered with fear. Shadows crawled across the walls. One night, the sorceress appeared before Belle. "Leave the beast," she whispered coldly. "He will only bring you sorrow." Belle stood firm. "I won't abandon him," she said boldly. The sorceress grew furious. She unleashed a raging storm around the castle. Thunder shook the towers. Lightning flashed across the sky. The beast fought to protect Belle, but the sorceress's spells were too strong. He began to weaken. Belle held his paw tightly. "Don't give up," she whispered. The beast looked at her with tears in his eyes. "No one has ever cared for me," he sighed softly. Belle's heart filled with warmth. She refused to let him fall. The final rose petal began to tremble. It slowly drifted toward the ground. Belle knew what she had to do. She cupped the beast's face in her hands. With all her heart, she whispered, "I love you for who you truly are." The rose burst into brilliant light. Golden magic wrapped around the beast. The castle shook with joy instead of fear. Dark spells shattered like broken glass. The sorceress screamed as her shadows vanished. The beast began to change shape. Belle watched in amazement. His claws softened into hands. His fur melted away. His eyes became warm and human. A handsome prince stood before her. He looked at Belle with gratitude. "Your love has broken the curse," he said with a smile. The castle brightened instantly. Servants returned to their human forms and cheered with happiness. Sunlight filled every corner. Belle and the prince walked through the garden. The magical rose bloomed more beautifully than ever. Birds sang as flowers opened around them. The prince gently held Belle's hand. "Stay with me," he whispered. "Rule this kingdom with kindness and love." Belle smiled warmly. Her heart was full of happiness. She knew she had found her true home. From that day forward, Belle and the prince lived happily ever after. They ruled with kindness and wisdom. They taught everyone that true beauty lives in the heart. Love became the strongest magic in the land. The kingdom bloomed with joy, and Belle's story was remembered forever. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More magical stories are coming on GrowTunes.